What's up, YouTube? It is your girl Carla. Welcome to my channel, Worth Beyond Circumstance. I am your homegirl's favorite homegirl. I am that girl who is weird but cool all at the same breath, and the ones that everybody wants to know what's going on with. I am her. Welcome to my space. Um, a little bit about me. I grew up in the military. I grew up with my parents being military, so I've traveled all over the world. I've seen a lot of things. I have a very open mind. I love sports. I love family activities. I work out. I enjoy running. I enjoy lifting. I love reading, writing. I love I love a lot of things. Okay. And one of the things that I've enjoyed most in this lifetime is interacting with people. Um, Before I started working in healthcare, psychology is something that I studied. I went to school for psychology. I didn't finish it, but since then, I've taken it on. Um, it's something that I've studied on my own. Um, um, I had a brain fart. Um, Also, astrology. Astrology is something that was really big in my life because not only has it taught me to learn a lot about myself, it's also taught me to uh, learn more about others and understand others in a deeper way. And I find that this was very important for me early on because, like most people, I've struggled with accepting myself. I was raised to um, always be me, but I was raised to also show up as somebody different in different spaces. And, I think that's, that's true for everybody. And even if it's not true for everybody, it's something that is triggering for a lot of people because, especially women who have children, we're constantly having to validate other people, and we kind of lose ourselves in these spaces because we're taught to always give, 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 and sacrifice, and go through the struggle, and we end up receiving it on the back end. And I think that it's really, really unfair, for us to do that. And because we have a lot of women out here who have children, they're doing it by themselves. It's hard to focus on self when you have other people that you have to teach and raise. But the problem with that is that when you don't understand yourself and you don't work through a lot of the struggles, then it makes it hard to really show up in those spaces as a teacher to your children, to really give them the best that you have. And that's where I believe that a lot of trauma comes in, and how we inflict a lot of things on our children because we don't know ourselves. We've not gone through, that period of life where we really dedicated to growing the self, and I'm a really big advocate of that. I enjoy working with people. I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy talking to people. Growing up in the military, I've had the luxury of meeting people all over the world. I've lived in Japan, I've lived in Germany, I've visited multiple countries. And so, with that, you learn that people all over are people. We're all the same. We all just have different experiences in this life. And, when I was younger, with meeting these people, as I with meeting people at a younger age and showing up in spaces after middle school, it was really hard to accept myself because I was different than a lot of people. Here I am, this black girl, and I get told that I act white, I talk white. What the fuck does that mean? Like, I'm confused. You know, I was always judged by what I look like. I was always bigger than my friends. Here I am pushing 130 and my friends are not even 80 pounds. Like, I've always been darker than other people. And so, like, being able to physically show up as who I wanted to be was always hard because as a child and even as a young adult, people are always going to judge you based off of their own experiences. And so, it was really hard for me because even though I connect with everybody, like I'm a very personal individual. I love talking. I resonate with everybody. Like people love talking to me, but it was very hard for me to for me personally to connect with other people and feel close to other people because deep down inside, I had this fear of showing who I really was. And whenever I did show who I was, or I showed up in spaces with the intellectual perspective of what they thought was different than what I should have been, then I was always judged for it. And so I started. it was after high school I really started to, you know, tested who I was out, and a lot of my experiences come from after high school with dating people, with working in different environments, and the different friends that I've met along the way. And um, did I say dating people? I might have. But in having kids, like having kids teaches you so much about yourself and how to really show up and advocate for yourself, and all of these things have really taught me to really just own who I am. And I think this is important now. And the purpose of this channel is to really be a representation of women who have children, and maybe single, or maybe just in relationships. Hell, you could just even be married, but women who have children, who sacrifice so much of themselves and avoid doing necessary work, intentional work, to become a better person to yourself. We don't have a lot of that on the internet. And a lot of the people that we do see in these spaces, they're great, but not everybody works that way. We have a lot of people who are really big on the femininity, on a feminine push and the divine push, and that's great and everything. But a lot of these spaces also are more so, focused on women who don't have children. Women who have children are kind of shunned. They're like a black mark on this earth. Leave it to some people to say, and we're really not. And I think that it's important to know that we can't authentically show up as ourselves and be the best version of ourselves if we've not actually accepted who we are. And it comes with a lot of work. It comes with a lot of intentional work. It comes with a lot of discipline. It comes in a lot of learning to love yourself. It comes with a lot of honesty and communicating with yourself. It comes with getting to know yourself. It comes with accepting the challenging aspects of life the same way it does with, the positive. And there's a lot of things that I believe that I have to offer, because all of these experiences are experiences that I've gone through. I've grown past. And it's with women having and girls having children at such a young age and not having a good representation of what is expected of self. I think that we need more of that. We have a good amount of women out here who's doing the work, but it's really up to a lot, especially millennials. Like, we're the ones who are birthing these kids now. Like, and these Gen Zers, they need help. No shade, but shade. Okay, like y'all's parents went through a fuck ton of trauma, and when they've not gone through that, and here you are procreating out of trauma and not taking accountability for the things that you've experienced in life, it makes for some shitty ass people to grow up in this world. And that's why we see a lot of people now who are projecting a lot of the things that they've experienced onto other people, especially women who have children who don't deserve it, you know? So, that's something that I hold really near. Like, I'm very passionate about helping women who are in circumstances that I've come from, because I know that there's better out there. It comes with a lot of work. It comes with a lot of putting into yourself. It comes from a lot of taking care of yourself. It comes from setting a time aside just for yourself. It comes from having these uncomfortable conversations with yourself. So that's something that I'm really big on, and I'm really hoping that throughout in the future, that y'all come sit and chill with me, because I got a lot of knowledge that I can give you guys. Am I perfect? No. Fuck no. But I don't claim to be perfect, but I have something that I can share with you guys. And I think that it's really important that we are starting to have more faces that represent who we are in our experiences, and not other people telling us who we are, telling us what we deserve, how we deserve it. But it also comes from looking at the ugly truth within ourselves. We can't want something that we're not even for ourselves. So, anyways, thank you guys for chilling here with me, listening to me, and I hope to see you here, because you are worthy regardless of your circumstance, hence worth beyond circumstances. Peace.